Well, hello there, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Bankside Science Podcasts. This is episode 4, and today we are going to talk about food, fuel, and energy for your body. As usual, I am Simon Shepherd, Simon the Science Guy. And I can't believe we've got to episode 4 already. And from what I've been told, you guys at school have been telling me how much you've enjoyed the first 3 episodes. So it's really cool. And so should we kick off then and start talking about food? Now, naturally, as soon as I start talking about food, I'm thinking, what shall I have for lunch? What shall I have for brunch? Shall I have a cookie? Shall I have a biscuit? But rather than think about our next meal, shall we have a think about what food actually means for us all as mammals, as humans? Because food is fuel. And we get our bodies, we get all our energy from what we eat, right? And so we've introduced 2 big important facts there. We've talked about food is fuel and food provides energy. So the big question for today is, how does food that we eat give our bodies energy? So let's start with something dead simple. Have you ever noticed how different you feel when you've not eaten for a while? Have you ever heard the word hangry? Like you get hungry and angry mixed together. I definitely get hangry when I've not eaten. So you might feel tired. You might feel grumpy. You might feel a bit sluggish or slow. And you might think, my brain's just not working properly. And then something magic happens when you eat. And suddenly things start to improve. Of course, that isn't magic, it's biology. Because what you've proven is your body needs energy to do everything. To move, to think, to breathe, to keep your heart beating, even to keep you warm. And that energy comes from the food that you've just eaten. So, the key killer sentence is, food is fuel. Just like petrol fuels cars, food fuels your body. And here's a very important point. Food doesn't contain energy in the way your body can use straight away. So it has to be released into your body. Now, that process is a tricky old process that your body is doing all the time and you just don't know it. And we call that respiration. Now, respiration in this case doesn't mean breathing. And breathing, of course, is just moving air in and out of your lungs. But respiration, when we're talking about food, is a chemical process that happens inside your cells, right? So you're not aware of this. We're not aware of this. I'm not aware of it. But it's happening inside your cells. And respiration is releasing energy from the food that you've eaten into your cells. And that energy then can be used by your body. Now, every cell in your body is respiring, going through respiration all the time. Even when you're asleep, even when you're sitting still. And that's why you still need food on days that you're not doing anything, when you're not active. So let's talk about, what food is actually made of. Because at Key Stage 3 and a little bit of Key Stage 4, we focus on 3 main nutrients that provide energy. We talk about carbohydrates, we talk about fats, and we talk about proteins. Now, carbohydrates are things like bread and pasta and rice and the sugars that we eat. They are your body's main source of energy, really. And your body breaks down carbohydrates really quickly, which makes them usually brilliant when you need energy fast. So if you eat carbohydrates like pasta and bread and rice, your body breaks down that energy, that food, nice and quickly to deliver energy to your body. So those are important. That's carbohydrates are really important. Now, fats are good for long-term energy storage. So when you eat fats, believe it or not, fats are actually not bad. If you eat too much, that's a different kettle of fish. But fats are a slow-release energy source. They contain more energy than carbohydrates, but as I said, your body releases the energy through fats a lot more slowly. So, like I say, fats are good for long term. Now, protein. Let's talk about protein. Proteins are a little bit different. They can be used for energy, but that's not their main job. Proteins, like chicken and fish and steak and all those kind of things, are used for repairing muscles after exercise. So if you have been doing football, you've been doing loads of sports or running, protein is epic for growth and repair. And it's dead important, I think, to kind of understand that energy is not just running around and doing sport. A lot of energy you get from food is basically used to keep you alive. It's your heart beating, your lungs breathing, your body temperature staying steady. And even like digestion itself, the process of going through your body, that requires energy. It actually requires a lot of energy. So when somebody says, I didn't do anything today, why am I tired? You actually did a lot because you're alive. So your body's been really busy. So let's just pause for a moment and think about just how important that is. Right now, as you're listening, energy released from food is being used by millions of cells in your body. You don't control it. You don't think about it. It just happens, right? That's biology doing its thing. Now, what happens when your body doesn't get enough food? If you don't get enough food, you've not got enough energy and your body starts to make choices. It might slow down growth. It might make you feel tired or weak. You might struggle to concentrate. And if this goes on for a long time, it can really, really affect your health. And that's why having a balanced diet matters. Not eating more food when you need it, but eating the right kinds of food. In your lessons at Bankside, you'll learn, especially at Key Stage 3, how we test for nutrients in food. And we'll talk a bit more about balanced diets. And you'll learn how energy is used for activity, growth, and repair. But it still comes back to this important principle that food is fuel. Respiration releases energy, and energy keeps you alive. That was weird. Anyway, before we finish, let's clear up a couple of common misunderstandings. Energy drinks do not magically give you energy. They don't create energy. They just contain substances that affect your body. And sugar rushes don't really last, and they're not actually that good for you. And also, skipping meals doesn't really save energy. Your body still needs fuel, even if you're not very active. So, I've waffled a bit there. So let's try and bring everything together. Food provides nutrients. Respiration releases energy from that food. That energy is used for movement, growth, and repair, and keeping you alive. I'm going to stop doing that. Next time then, I think we've done food, we'll stay in the human body and we'll explore another almighty big question. How does the heart and blood system move energy and oxygen around your beautiful body? Thanks for listening, and I shall see you next time.